and thank you for joining me for Scrappy Sunday. My name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every Sunday, I have been bringing you a memory keeping project. So I'm just getting back into this. I stopped doing a lot of the memory keeping many years ago when Stampin' Up! Kind of pulled back the supplies and life got busy with raising young boys on the spectrum, and I just got away from it. But now I have the time to get back into it, and I certainly want to keep those memories. So here I am. Now, Stampin' Up! Recently held a virtual album retreat, and it was the month-by-month virtual album retreat. The kit that came with this retreat, by purchasing the kit, you got access to the virtual, the videos and the instructions. But that kit contained 2 very large stamp sets, cardstock, and designer series paper that was all cut to size already, which is a big time saver, and die cuts and linen thread and decorative dots. So you got a lot of stuff, page protectors, photo placeholders. You got a lot of stuff in that kit, and now I'm going to be able to create 12 2-month spreads. And tonight we are going to be doing the 4th project, which is April. Let's get started. All right, we're going to get out project 4, which I am using as my April project. Pretty colors in this, pretty designer series paper. We're going to set these aside. These are mats for the photos, so we don't need those yet. And then there's 2 of everything. So one's going to be right, one's going to be left. And then you've got, I'm going to set the skinny ones aside for a second. We've got some Darling Duckling. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the light side of everything except for the soft seafoam. That will use the dark. So here's the dark side. I'm going to put the dark side up so that I know. And let's see. I want the light side. This is the light side. I'm going to put that up. I want the light side of the Misty Moonlight. And then, isn't this pretty? Pretty designer series paper. I'm going to use that. And then, of course, I've got this too. I'm going to set that aside as well. So what we want to do is we want to make some banners, and we're going to treat them all the same. Let's get the white out of the way for a second. You'll probably want a pencil and a ruler and some sort of grid sheet. So I've got my Glass Mat Studio here, and I'm going to do 2 at a time, but I only need to mark on 1. So I want to find the center. Now it looks like this is 4 and an 1/8. So that means the center would be 2 and a 1/16. So halfway between the 8 right here. That's about it. And then I want to mark 3/4 of an inch above that. So all my banners are going to look pretty much alike. So here's my center dot, and let's go ahead and draw a line. Oh, you know what I should be doing? I should be doing this on the back side. Ooh, let's start that over. Let's start that over. That way it's not going to matter if my pencil shows it all. Let's start on the back side. Let's try this again. So halfway between 6 and 10 and an 1/8 is 8 and a 1/16. So 8 and a little bit. And then I'm going to take that and go 3/4 of an inch above it. Now that's my center line here. Oops, it's probably not very centered. There we go. Now I'm going to connect that top center point with the diagonal down here. Okay. And do the same thing on the other. Now when you're using just a small piece of designer series or cardstock. It's very easy just to make this a flag. Just cut up and you cut over here and you get it pretty well, but it's harder to guess the center the larger something is. So that's why we're taking the time to draw here. All right, so let's put these together and hold them firmly. And then we're going to cut along that line. Here we go. And light side is what we're using. I'm going to repeat that process with all of these pieces. So let's mark on the back of this. And they're different widths, so you'll want to measure. So from 6 to 11 1/4. That's 5 1/4 inches. So half of 5 is 2 1/2. And half of 1/4 is 1/8. So that's the mark. That's the center mark right there. And from there, I want to measure up. Let's measure up 3/4 of an inch. Oops, 3/4 of an inch above that mark. So half, 3/4 right here. And then we're going to draw rather than pick up my ruler every time. Let's just go ahead and do all of these before I cut any more. We have all our banners now, and I've got them, let's see, I want light side up here, and I want light side up here, and I want dark side up here. So there we go. Now we need to do a little stamping, and we're going to be stamping on the Darling Duckling piece, or both of them. You can see that they're very similar on both sides. And we're also going to be stamping on the Misty Moonlight piece. So let's set these other two pieces aside. And let's start with the Darling Duckling. And if you notice, the Darling Duckling is covered up quite a bit. So I only really need to stamp maybe 2 inches on the left side and a little bit over here on both of these. So maybe 2 inches in from the left side and 2 to 3 inches across the bottom. And for that, we need the burst stamp. So the burst stamp is, let's see, if we go back to our instructions, remember that the instructions are labeled, or the stamps are labeled in here. And in the instructions for number 4, project number 4, under prepare, it says stamp burst in Darling Duckling ink. So if I find on here the burst, it looks like this. It's got 6 points to it. So it's this one right here underneath the bird. Let's see. Or I should say, when you have it matching up with the inside, it's this one right here. So that's what we're going to use for that. And then we want to use the raindrops, the double raindrop, which is right here on the Misty Moonlight. So I might as well get that out while I'm here with my stamps. All right, I meant to bring some smaller blocks home, but this is what we've got here. All right, let's go ahead and get out our Darling Duckling ink pad. And we're going to stamp the burst. And you can stamp as much or as little as you like. But it is nice if you can get somewhat, so on the video they called it plandom. So like a planned random. So you get a couple going, and they likened it to you're making triangles. And so now I have these two, so I need a triangle over here. And I have these two, and I need a triangle there. And these two need a triangle. So you can see you get kind of a triangle going. Now, I have a mess on my stamp, so it's not really on my stamp, it's on my block. I'm gonna make sure I can clean that up a little bit. And I just want to make sure I'm not rocking. Just set that down. Karen Pedersen, who did this on the live, did this so well. She had so much ink on her block, and yet she never got the little splotches. I'm going to just make that look like it was on purpose. It doesn't, but it's okay. Doing a good job not getting this icky yellow part where I don't want it. The trick, I think, slow down. That's what I think is the trick. So we are done with our Darling Duckling. Now we're going to take our raindrops and we're going to put this on our Misty Moonlight. Now, if you notice on the layouts, there are photos that take up a lot of the banner. So I really only need to do the outside. Let's get our Misty Moonlight pad out. And we'll get our little raindrops situated here. And you can go off the page. I'm just taking my time. I think that's probably pretty good. I'm going to clean off my glass mat, get any ink residue off there. The instructions now say adhere the Darling Duckling rose pieces to the top of the Darling Duckling banners. And then the next step is adhere the black and white polka dot DSP to the top of the Misty Moonlight. Nope, not Misty Moonlight. To the top of the soft seafoam banners. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Put this on. I get a little, there we go. This goes on top of the soft seafoam. It's a fun way to dress up the banners. Just need a little bit of glue. Got an ultra thin line going on there. Keeps it from getting over everything. And when you put the roses on, make sure that you're putting them right side up. So So I want my roses to come up here. All right, let's put those aside and move on to our next step. The next step says we need to use blending brushes. I'm going to hold off on that for a little bit. So now I'm going to stamp 3 large flowers and 4 small flowers in Tuxedo Black on the pre-cut pieces. So I need 3 large flowers and 4 small flowers. So let's just pop them out right here. 1, 2, 3. And again, for those of you who may not have caught the other videos, a great tip was provided by Stampin' Up! That go ahead and keep the sheets in the package, because die cuts have a habit of falling out. And so if you don't want to lose them, go ahead and just keep them in here. So let's see, we need 1, 2, 3 large flowers. Okay, so 3 large flowers and 4 small flowers. And we're going to stamp that on the coordinating pieces. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get my flowers out. 3 here and 4 little ones. Get my flowers out. So I've got the large flower here. We've used that on a previous project. And the small flowers right here. So large flower, small flower. In Tuxedo. Now if I look at this flower, I can see how they kind of rotate around. I'm just gonna find the best spot. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna try not to get my head in the way. And a little bit hard. I'm used to stamping over. Oh, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Ah, very nice, Sharon. Good job. This one, I'm not so sure about. So I think this little part goes over here. Might go on the other side though. Yeah, this little part right here goes over here, I think. I think I moved that. Not my best work. I mean, probably not my worst work either. Let's see. See if I can figure out how this goes. Maybe like this? Nope, that's not right. Well, I think this is gonna go on the, it'll be good enough. Truth be told, it would be way easier just to go ahead and stamp it and then cut it out. I think that would be way easier. I think that's the wrong side. I think this comes over here. Ooh, this one might be okay. That one's pretty good. Third time's the charm. All right. So we have now stamped those. And the next step is to stamp 3 large flowers and 4 small flowers. Leaves. Nope. I already did that one. Stamped 3 large and okay. So now the next step is stamp 2 large leaves and 2 small leaves in Garden Green ink. Okay, 2 large, 2 small. And these leaves are the ones that look like teardrops. They're the ones you want. So I think they're on the other one right here. Yep. They're right here, these teardroppy ones. So I've got one. And here's a second one. I'm just gonna take it out from there. See how some of these are falling out? There's too large. And I need too small. Okay. So here's too small. Okay. And we're gonna do that in garden green. Let's go ahead and clean my stamps off. Should put those back as I'm finding my others. All right, so here's where my flowers go. My large flower goes here. My small flower goes here. And let's see, the large teardrop leaf is right here. This one. And my small one is just a little bit over from that. There. Let's put the large one up first. And we'll put the small one on. Here's my garden green ink pad. This one's way easier to stamp. I'm still off a little bit, but I can flip that one over because there's a lot of symmetry in this particular one. Let me show you what I mean. You know what, might even be easier if I do the wide base at the bottom here. There, that's better. There we go. And then let's do the small one. There we go. Let's clean up. Now the directions say to stamp the bird. And so we have this little chubby bird over here. And let's see if we can find the chubby bird. Let's see. Chubby bird is right here. And stamp that bird in Darling Duckling on the Chubby Bird die cut. Here he is right up here at the top. Let's get out our Darling Duckling. Now when you're doing your own pages and you're just sort of copying these ideas, this kit is a great value because it has all these little die cuts, which save you from stamping and cutting out. But you can stamp your own images and then cut them out. Just fussy cut them and you'll be good to go. All right, so that's my next one. Using the stamping off technique, you're going to stamp the seal in Misty Moonlight ink on the coordinating die cut piece. So if we go into our die cuts on the other side, the side that has the flowers, we're going to look for a seal. And the seal, we've done that previously on another one. It's this thing right here. And if you go back and look and try to find the seal, it's the image that looks like the die cut. So let's get that seal out, and that is in the month by month alphabet set. Since we're going to do that second generation using the stamping off technique, we're going to do that in Misty Moonlight. So that means Get some of this out of the way here. I'm going to bring in a little bit of scrap paper here for a second. I'm going to ink my stamp. Stamp it once here. Now I've got something on my stamp, so I think it's a crash fur, maybe crash hair. I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to re-ink. I'm going to stamp, and that takes a lot of the color off. And then I'm going to stamp on the seal itself. There we go. So it's a much lighter look that we have there. So I did that one, and now I'm going to stamp the curved arrow in Tuxedo Black on this prepared seal piece. So if I find the curved arrow, and that is in my other stamp set, so the seal was right here. There's no curved arrow in this one. So put this back. The curved arrow is right over here. So let's see. The curved arrow is over here, right here. I'm going to stamp this curved arrow in Tuxedo Black onto this prepared seal piece. All right. You know what? I need to clean this initially because it looks like there's a little bit of oil on here still, which makes it not stamped quite as well. So I'm just going to get some of that off. And now I have a better inked image, and we're going to just put that right on there. There we go. I think you could have done that probably in the full strength Misty Moonlight too, or maybe Secret Sea or Night of Navy, and that would look nice as well. All right, so moving right along, we're almost done. We've almost prepped everything. You're going to stamp the curved arrow, did that. Stamp the clouds in Tuxedo Black ink on prepared cloud piece. So how many cloud pieces do I need? It's a stamp clouds on cloud piece. All right, so stamp my cloud. So if I look at my cloud, I have my cloud here. I'm going to put my arrow back while I still have this out. And I think I didn't put my birdie back. I did not, so I need to clean my bird and put my bird back before I lose it. Some of these pieces are so small, and I am going to want my blocks, so I want to free them up, which means if I don't put these back now, I might put them somewhere else where I don't remember where they are. And because they're clear, hello, really hard to see them. All right, so here's my cloud. And if I look at my sample here, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clouds. All right, let's get out 6 clouds here. Oh, and where are the clouds? Right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see one. I see one. He's trying to escape. Oh, I thought he was. Maybe he's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one somewhere. Here's 6. There we go. All right. So here are our cloud pieces. And before I stamp, I'm going to try to line those up. And that looks like it's about right. So the larger, the more curves are on the bottom. So I'm just gonna get those going for me right now. It'll make it easier to stamp. And just make sure I'm on camera. I am. All right, so the directions say we're going to stamp in Tuxedo Black. Again, I'm going to kind of prep my stamp a little bit, even though it's an outline, so it's not quite as crucial. I'm just gonna kind of give it a wash and a dry. One. Okay, there are my clouds. Now, one of the things that are not in the instructions is I need to blend some Misty Moonlight onto the cloud bottoms. And I can see that because I'm looking right here and I can see that there's Misty Moonlight on the bottom of those clouds. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Get out a little blending brush. I'm gonna take my Misty Moonlight, pick up some ink, get some of it off, because I don't want any strong color. And then just along the bottom, I'm going to blend some Misty Moonlight. Doesn't have to be a lot. That just makes them look a little bit more real and three-dimensional. It actually makes them look quite pretty. I can pick up some of this ink that I got rid of previously. There we go. And it doesn't look like you're putting much on here, but if you put it next to something white, you'll see that there is quite a bit there. So you wanna check it. If you don't think it's really doing anything, you might want to check it against white. So for instance, here I check it against white, and you can see it's quite dark. So just going to add a little bit on here. Yep, that's good. Now I'm going to take my cloth and just wipe this clean. All right. And the last thing it says is adhere photo to the photo mats. Remember, I don't have my photos, so I'm not going to adhere anything to the mats because I don't have them. Wow! Look. Look at what I did. I forgot this. This is where the blending brush was, and they said do Lost Lagoon on the bottom half of the clouds. And I used Misty Moonlight. But you know what? Misty Moonlight works perfectly here because there's Misty Moonlight in the back of this, so I'm good with having made that mistake. But I am going to cross it off so that if I ever replicate this, I know better. I was wondering why it didn't tell me that I had 6 clouds, and that's why, because I did it up there already. All right, so now we are ready to assemble. Beginning with the left-hand page, I'm going to take my Fresh Freesia strip with the diamonds, and I'm going to adhere that along the top. Use your adhesive of choice. I'm just going to adhere that right along the top. Slide that in place. Kind of square it up with my fingers. There we go. And then we're going to adhere the prepared banner pieces. I'm going to take the sample in here with me so I can see. So it looks like what's underneath are the soft sea foam and the Darling Duckling. So if I put those two down first, that'll be good. And it says, put this one 1 inch down from the top and 1/2 inch in from the side. I'm going to guesstimate. I'm not actually going to measure. So 1/2 inch in and 1 inch down. That looks pretty good. let's see. Let's see how we did. 1/2 inch, just a smidge over, close enough. And this is just under 1 inch down, again, close enough. And the one with the polka dots on the top, that's going to go 1/2 inch in from the side. And it doesn't say how much down from the top, but I can see that it's maybe another 1/2 inch below this one. So we're gonna just do this. 1/2 inch from the side and about 1/2 inch down. So it's gonna look something like that right there. Now, which banner comes next? I can see this blue one is over the DSP banner. So that's what I'm going to put on next, my DSP banner. By the way, the directions for left and right are different on this one, so we want to make sure that we are not just making some assumptions here. So this one sticks up just a little bit over. Oh, it looks like this one should have been under this. Oopsie. I think I can handle it though. I think I can make it work. I can make it work. I can make it work. It looks like it's just a smidge onto that one because it just barely peeks through down here at the bottom. Let's get it straight. This is going to be covered up, so it's not a big deal that I'm having a little bit of a hard time over here. There we go. Put a little more glue over here. It'll be fine. Nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know. Because how would they know? All right. And then my last one is I want to put on this blue piece right here. And that is going to go, it looks like it goes about like this. Yeah, so like there's about 1 inch there and 1.5 inches, maybe 1.75 inches over here where you can journal. All right, let's do that. Again, if you're off a little bit from what the designers did, it's fine. It's yours. Nobody's going to know you're off unless you tell them. And why would you do that? Don't do that. So we're going to do this. So it doesn't look like the green is actually supposed to show very much. So I'm going to move it down. No, that's not true. It goes like this. That's fine. We're going to cover up some of this anyways. It really looks like some of this green shouldn't be here, but that may just be how it photographed. All right. So, and we're going to use the prepared April title and add that up here as well. So the April goes right up here. And let's get that out. April comes in a couple pieces here. April's right up here under March. I'm going to pull it out a little bit because the top we've already used. So I'm going to pull out the A and the P. That's one little piece. And the R-I-L. But don't forget the little, I know that there's a name for this, but I always forget it. A dot that goes above the I. All right. And so I can adhere that on here. This is going to go just peeking off the top a little bit so that the P kind of comes right alongside the bottom of the top of the Misty Moonlight piece. And so this is going to go like this. And then we're just going to put this right up here like that. So I think something like this. And so the P kind of goes on the top here. All right, let's go ahead and just put some adhesive on here. Okay. We're gonna do something that looks like this. And then we do the RIL. And then we do the little dot for the eye. There we go. Then it says we're going to add the prepared photos. Well, I mean, I could put my mats on right now. I really could put these down. And this looks like it goes in line with this piece right here. I guess this piece could have gone over a little bit, but we're going to give this a little bit of break in here. We're going to allow that section to show just a little bit. And it looks like it goes a little higher, so something like that. Let's go ahead and put that down. All right, so about 1/2 inch down, maybe 1/2 inch in. Leave a little bit of space for that beautiful paper to show through. And we'll add a photo there when we get one. And then we need another photo. This size is going to go right on this blue piece. And it looks like I kind of center it, top and bottom, left and right. Nothing is living underneath it, so I can adhere it all down. There we go. Adhere the prepared pre-cut pieces using Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere some pieces. So for instance, I can see in my photo that we get some clouds up here, and one of them is just going to get adhered regularly. Another one will get adhered with Stampin' Dimensionals. So we'll adhere this right up to the center there, and I'm putting my, making sure that the bottom, the part that's been misty moonlighted, yep, kind of made that up, made it into a verb. That's gonna go there. Now let's put in, give some dimensionals. If you know me, I like to use up my edges whenever possible. So let's use some edges here. And that's gonna go, oops, there we go. That's gonna go right about here. Overlap that a little bit. There we go. And we need another cloud. And I think up on dimensionals right here, kind of straddling that intersection there. There's one, this piece. Here's another piece. So we'll straddle that area. Okay. And then we've got some of our flowers. So we need 2 large flowers, a large leaf and a small leaf on this one, and 2 small flowers. Okay, again, we're not coloring the flowers. You may choose to. This would look really pretty if you maybe put in a little bit of a little bit of fresh freesia, I think. I think that would be lovely. Let's put one of our large flowers down with, and I'm going to trim this so it makes it look like a little bit more like it's not been stamped a mistake. There we go. That's much better. Oops. And this one looked pretty good anyway. So I think we're going to put this one down regularly. Okay. That's going to go down right here in this area. And then we're going to put a little one up on dimensionals. All right, where'd my dimensionals go? Right here. Let's see, we'll take this little one and we'll kind of overlap that there. Looks good. And then we take the other large one, trim this side over here a little bit. All right, just make it look a little more intentional. And we're going to put this up on dimensionals. All right, and so we will just put that, and I want to make sure I'm not gluing anything that's going to interfere with laying down a photo right there. And then this one doesn't need dimensional. It just gets glued down right here. There we go. And we're almost done with this one. We just need to put on a couple of leaves and do a couple more things. So this large leaf, again, let's use the side that's stamped the best. That's the side. So I'm going to put this one down with regular glue. Down here. And then this one, I think I'm going to put with regular glue as well, but just on top of the other one. So we have something that looks like that. All right. And now we just have to do a little bit of stamping here. So everything looks good. We'll put some journaling lines. And you don't have to put the lines down. That's just if you want to keep your journaling straight. I don't know what I want to write, so I don't know how many lines I need. So I'm going to wait on that. But I have love this and a couple of blue hearts, a starburst here, and a couple of white dots. So I'm pretty sure that if I look in my directions, stamp love this in tuxedo black, and the solid hearts in misty moonlight, and the starburst in darling duckling, and embellish with dots. So here are my stamps. Love this is right here. I'm gonna put that. Ooh, I didn't clean my cloud. Let's clean my cloud so I can free that up. And now normally I would put that right here and then I would promptly lose it, pretty sure. So I'm gonna put it back where it goes. Here we go. And I need a little heart. So let's get that heart out. I also need the little starburst, and the starburst is on the other one. The starburst right, where is it? We had it, oh, right here. Okay, I'm gonna just put the starburst in first because that's not anywhere near the other ones. So the starburst is gonna go kind of right between the flowers, right in here. Okay, just like that. That's all there was to that. And then I want the love. I'm gonna wash this because I need it for my little hearts. Put the little baby back. So me know where it is in the future. Okay. And then we want the Love This in Tuxedo Black. That's gonna go right about here. So now that I know kind of what this spread looks like, I can take some photos with that in mind. For instance, I'm not gonna put a bad memory on this page because it says Love This on it. So I just gotta be careful with what I choose here. And here's my little heart, and we'll find my Misty Moonlight pad, which is right here. And we're just gonna, we'll put that right there. And then we'll put another one right here. Let's get a couple dots out. Now the other page that we're heading into shortly has a fun surprise on it. Wait until you see. But let's first add some of these dots. I'm gonna add just some white dots. White dot there, maybe a smaller one right up here. There we go. And our left page is done. All right, let's bring in our right side, and we're going to do a lot of the same things. We're going to put our elements on. So let's put our Fresh Freesia piece on right up at the top. Using your adhesive of choice. Okay. There. All right, and I'm going to bring in my other one just a little bit so that we can kind of make sure the heights and stuff are the same, because we have a lot of the same elements. Almost, you know, all the banners are the same, but there's a bit of a different placement going on. So we will still bring in the yellow, and the yellow is going to do the same on this side as it did on the other side. So about 1/2 inch in and about 1 inch down. And then we're going to bring in this guy, and he's gonna come over 1/4 inch, oops, 1/4 inch from the edge, and about 1/2 inch up onto the Fresh Freesia. Let's just do those two before we go any further. All right, so I'm looking at the other one, and it's just about like this. So it looks good. And then on this one, ooh, almost got my glue somewhere where I didn't want it to be. We're gonna go 1/4 inch in from the left and about 1/2 inch up onto the Fresh Freesia. Okay, if I just make sure it's a little straight over here, that should be good. I got a little bit of glue off here, so I'm gonna let that dry for just a second, and then I'm gonna take my adhesive remover and just kind of get rid of it. There we go. So nothing's sticky where I don't want it to be. Now we're gonna take our soft seafoam piece. We're gonna add that one in there. And this is going to go so that it is just, you'll just see a little bit of this DSP peeking over, and it looks like it's about like this maybe. That looks pretty good, I think. Just kind of make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay. All right. You know what? I didn't even look at the DSP to see if it had a right and a, an upside down and a right side up. And it looks like this one kind of goes both ways. So I got lucky on that one. Woo. All right. And now with this Misty Moonlight piece, I do have to prep it a little bit first. So let me get out my paper trimmer, because this is going to be an interactive element. I'm going to score this a 1/2 inch from the top. Let me just make sure it's a 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure it is. 1/2 inch from the top edge. So little measurement, go to the left of the trimmer blade. There's my 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to use my scoring blade. All right, so there we go. And that's what you're going to put some adhesive on. All right. So I'm going to use some tear and tape on this. I could use the glue as well, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the tear and tape. And I want to put it on the back side. We're going to be able to lift this element. It's going to be a little surprise flap. Okay. And now when I'm placing this, well, you know what? Before I remove that, let me show you where I'm going to place it. I'm going to place it exactly in the center of this sheet. So I want to find the center. So 6 inches over from 2 is an 8. So that's where 8 is. And I'm going to make sure that my little dovetail there, that's the halfway mark of that banner. I'm going to make sure that that's where that goes. All right. And I'm going to have to put this up a bit. The green is going to show some. It looks like it sticks over that green maybe about that much probably, I'm guessing. Okay. And if I bring in my other one, if I bring in this one over here, I want it to be about the same height as the other one. So I guess a little bit higher. So that's where it's going to go. So I'm looking, this comes just to the little edge of that starburst and up a little bit. So that's, oh, I guess, you know what? I didn't really need to move it all, did I? Because I have this little flap that's the only part I'm gluing down. So let me go back here and find that middle ground. I wasted all that time and effort for nothing. Here's 6 inches. Oops, let's go on this. So here's the 6 inch mark. Let me put this underneath. All right, 6 inches. And I wanna be able to get this. So it's gonna come down just a little bit. It's about at the same level as my other one from the other page. There we go. And so we can see that we can lift that. There we go. Now we're ready for the next thing. All right. We can see that we do have some clouds still that we have to put on, and some birds and some flowers and a seal. All right. So cloud will go on with some dimensionals. One of these days I'm going to be able to break into a new dimensional piece. I have some, but I do really, really want to use up my edges. So let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to put, I want one down on Oh, this one will go, this one kind of goes right around here in the overlap of this little corner, kind of hides where they all overlap here. So we'll put that about right there. Okay, and then I'm going to have a couple clouds over here. So I'm just going by this placement right here. Can you see that? Yeah, okay, you can see that on camera. So let's put, one cloud is going to go with regular adhesive. And then another cloud's going to go over the top of that. So this one is going to go kind of right here, I think. Right there. And then we're going to put the other cloud on dimensionals. So this one is done. Let me bring in some edges from this one. And that's going to overlap this top here. I want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the lifting mechanism though. So I think we'll kind of come right over here like this. So they overlap just a little bit. Maybe bring this up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. We're going to sneak. This is going to come on here. My photos. Let's see. I have these little photo mats here. These are going to go right on here like this. That one goes in the center. This and this are going to go right on the sides at the same height. So this one just sneaks through just a little bit over here. Over here, this looks like that. It's interesting because I feel like I've measured in appropriately, and yet my mats are a little bit off. Oh, I guess I could have come over another 1/8 of an inch here, and then this would have been over, and then this should have probably been over a little bit, but this is going to be fine. I'm just going to make sure that these guys are all equally spaced and about the same height. And I can put those down there. And I can put my photo placeholders on here if I want to. I mean, they're going to be a big white blob, so I guess I'm going to know what's going to go there. Something's got to go there. And you can put these up on dimensionals, or you can just put the photos on dimensionals, which is kind of cool too. I'm going to put this on with just regular glue. But adding dimensionals certainly makes things pop quite a bit. In fact, I'm going to put this one on dimensionals. When I get my photos, I can choose to either have the photos on dimensionals or not. Let's see. Remember, we don't want things to sag, so we'll go ahead and put on probably more than we think we need to. Here's one more. That's good. Okay. And here we go. So I've got these 3 photos in a row. There we go. And let's see, where does everything else go? Well, we've got our big flower. This can be trimmed just a little bit like we did before, just to make it look like I was not as bad at stamping it as I was. All right, that's good. That's going to go down here. We're going to need our large leaf. Let's see, where's our bird? We need another small flower. And we have another small leaf somewhere. Well, let's worry about that in a minute. All right, so we're going to put up our large flower. The large flower is going to go right down here. So we're going to put that up on dimensionals. Okay, so we're gonna put this about right here. So it just barely hits this photo mat. It won't interfere with the photo. So I think we got maybe a little bit closer to the blue here, the Misty Moonlight. All right, and we're gonna put our flowers down. We'll put one just regularly with regular adhesive. Oh, come on. Don't hold out on me now. Hold on, let me get my little pokey tool here. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. I know that a second, I don't want it to come out. It's going to. Let me just squeeze it. I could just go to a different adhesive. I think, oh, there we go. There we go, we got it. Put that there. And this one's gonna go right about here. We're gonna have the other one up on dimensionals. Let's put my glue away before it hardens where it's not supposed to again. We'll put a dimensional on the back of this flower. This one's gonna go right here where that green and Designer Series paper overlaps. Okay, we're gonna put our leaves right in here. There's one leaf, and we're gonna find that second leaf in a minute. All right. So we just got this one kind of sneaking in just like that. Here we go. Now let's find that second little leaf. All right, I found it. So we're gonna put that on also with just a regular adhesive. Okay, and that's gonna go right about there. All right, there's a little bit of stamping that we need to do. This is going to go underneath this photo mat just a little bit off to the side. Just sneaks off there just a little bit, just like that. I can put that in there. I should have noticed that beforehand. I didn't get too close to here so that I can lift it up and put it down. So there we've got that. And then we're going to take our little birdie, and he's going to get put up on a dimensional. Is this one too big? Nope, it's just right. And I'm going to make sure that he comes under here. And he slips over this mat, but I'm going to be able to put my picture under there because the adhesive is right here, and so there's still a little space under there. And then it's a matter of doing a couple stamps, and I think we're done. So we're gonna put some journaling down here if we want to. Don't need to, but if we want to say stuff, the journaling is going to be down there. And what we're going to do under here is we're going to put another photo. So we have this other white piece here, and because I've lined all three of these up, I know exactly where this one's going to go. It's going to go right there. We may as well adhere that now. Fun little interactive piece. So I'm just putting that exactly in the center, just lined up, those three. Okay, and so there's our little surprise photo. And again, some journaling space down here if we want it. We don't need it. But you can see on the instructions, here's when it's closed. When you lift it up, there's a little baby underneath. It's just another little bonus picture. So this is a great way to fit more photos on a page without it feeling crammed in. All right, so let's go ahead and finish our stamping and call it a day. So we need to get out our Starburst and our heart again. So let's see, our Starburst was right here. And our little heart is right here. So the heart goes in Misty Moonlight, which is the strongest color on this page. So that's where your eye kind of goes to. So I'm just going to make a little heart right here and put it right there. And then we're going to take our Starburst, put a couple of Starbursts in there with my Darling Duckling. So we can put one there. And then we can put one maybe right up here. Okay. I think that's good. We'll add just a couple of these, just like we did before. I'm going to take a couple of these. I'll take a larger one, and maybe we'll put this somewhat like right here, and then we'll take a smaller one and tuck that kind of up here closer to the heart. Just a little doodad decoration. And there is our second page. Now the only thing left we have to do is, what do we do with our sheet protector and this interactive piece? All right, let's put our pages into page protectors. So this was the second side, the right side of March. So when I turn that over, that's where the left side of April is going to be. So there were no interactive elements here. All right, if I bring in our photo placement pieces, these are just to remind me what goes here. I have two of them there. So I just put them on there, and you can also use these as mats. So I know it's a white on white, but you really can see it very subtly if you want a double mat, or you can just remove this when you get the picture that goes on there. So let's just take a couple of glue dots. Got some glue dots left over from some paper pumpkins. I'm just going to put a couple on here. This will just help me know at a glance how many pictures and of what size I need for this layout. So there's one. So as I mentioned, so this would be done if I had photos instead of those placeholders there. I'm going to pop this into that page protector, and I want to be careful of the elements as I'm sliding it in. That one's protected. I can put that one away. Now for this one, remember we have an interactive piece. So the first thing we need to do is get that settled. This is going to be the right side. So I want to turn my page protector so that the opening is at the top and the holes are on the left-hand side. And I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to trace around the sides of this piece. Oh, my pencil lid broke. So I'm just tracing around here. Not the top, just the sides. And then the bottom as well. Okay, if I now take this out, because I need to cut my page protector, I don't want to cut both sides, so I need to protect it. I'm just going to bring in a piece of chipboard from my paper pumpkin. Now, you may be able to see from the glare, I'm not sure, but this, I can see where my lines are. Now, last time I used, I don't have it out, but I used my Take Your Pick tool, and I had an attachment. I had a craft blade attachment that I used. You can also use your paper snips because they're nice and sharp. Now I'm gonna use a ruler to keep my lines somewhat straight, and you may not be able to see very well here, but I can kind of see where it's going. So I'm just going to take my scissors, got a nice point on it, and follow that line. And, oop, didn't cut through. I guess I didn't press hard enough. You know what? Maybe I will use something else. Let's see. Let's get that point in there. I think that one cut through. Let's see. Yep, you can see I got my slits there. And if some of it didn't cut, like this first little bit didn't cut, I'm just going to snip it up so it does. There we go. And then I'm going to do the other side. So same thing. And I want to make sure that I'm going to move this over just a little bit so I get a good view. Put my ruler on the correct side. All right, and we're going to there we go. Now we just need to do the bottom. Oops, I'm getting my ruler here. Metal edged ruler would be better. I don't have one. Someday I'll get one. And let's see, I need to move this so I can see not where my cut mark is, but where the pencil line is. All right. So we're gonna go right here, here. All right, let's see if we've got it free. Oh, look at that, we've got it free. All right, so now I can go ahead and put my paper back in here. The whole thing goes in. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I didn't put in my photo placeholders. I need to do that before I go further. And here we go. We'll put this back into our holder, our page protector. make sure their elements don't get caught. Oop. Okay. There we go. And so now you can see that you can lift that right up there. This one needs to be cut just a little bit higher up on the top. I'm just going to take my little scissors and release that right there. That didn't get cut properly. So now it's cut. It's good. It lifts up, and yet it's protected when it's down. Stampin' Up! Has done a great job with this virtual album retreat kit. I was a little skeptical at first because a $250 price tag, that sounds very pricey, but remember I got 2 very large stamp sets and pre-cut everything, die cuts and linen thread and page protectors and decorative dots. I got a lot for my money. But more than that, I got Stampin' Up's expertise and their artists and designers, and I love these layouts. So even if you don't purchase the retreat kit, which is still available, and you'll find the link in the description of this video, even if you don't purchase that for yourself, you can take the ideas that you find in this video and apply them perhaps to your own pages. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have an amazing week ahead of you.